If you're new to the channel, my name is Solomon Thomas. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm currently getting my master's in psychology, and I also have the goal of running a 2 hour and 50-minute marathon this summer at the Buffalo, New York Marathon. And in this video, I wanted to share a paradigm for how to achieve your goals. Now, as I'm reflecting upon this paradigm, it might sound self evident and obvious to many people. My hope is that by fleshing out some of these concepts, which again, most people will probably say duh when they hear it, by explicating on the concepts and fleshing them out more, it'll make it easier for people to execute upon them. For me, in my experience, someone can tell me something or they can give me the overarching bullet points, but sometimes it takes a little more detail for me to really conceptualize it and understand how to translate those concepts into actions. And so the paradigm is 3 steps: set a goal, make a plan, and commit to learning. So step 1, set a goal. Sounds easy enough, seems obvious. I would say that many people purposefully don't set a goal, or they set a murky goal, because when you set a goal, you are obviously setting the conditions for success. You're telling yourself that if I achieve X, Y, and Z by this time period, then I will have achieved victory and obtained success. But you're also specifying the conditions for failure, where if you do X and Y, but you don't do Z, well, then you failed. And many of us who have failed, I'm assuming all of us have failed at some point in our lives, we feel that negative emotion that comes with failure, that the anxiety, the frustration, maybe the fear, or there's just the feeling of disappointment and guilt, maybe the feeling of inadequacy. So no one likes that. So it makes sense that some of us will have this tendency to actually not set a goal, or to set a murky goal, something that's unclear, so that way when the day comes and it's time for us to perform, we kind of have this wiggle room to say, oh, well, I didn't get exactly my goal, but it's okay. I didn't really want that in the first place because I really wanted this lower standard. So it's important to set a goal so that way you can clarify to yourself, what the line is, what the standard is, and that way you can make your plan, which is the next step, that's actually aligned with that goal. The less clear your goal is, the less efficient and effective your plan can be. So, like I said, the second step, make a plan. And one pitfall that I think many of us can fall into here is to try to make a perfect plan and to try to create a strategy that is not prone to any errors. And in doing so, we often make something that's too rigid, or we maybe make a plan that completely misses the mark, because we were so focused on the initial stages of strategizing and planning and thinking about it that we failed to create a feedback loop, and allow some flexibility in the plan where, we make a broad outline, a broad plan, and then we go and execute and take those learnings back and adjust the plan. So make a plan, but don't fall in love with it, and don't think that it has to be perfect the first time that you come up with a strategy. And then the final step is to commit to learning. So I kind of already alluded to it earlier. When you make a plan, what's important in achieving the goal as well, in anything difficult you're trying to do, what's important is that you're learning and that you're moving forward. The crossing the finish line, or PRing in that squat or deadlift rep, or getting that promotion, like those states are good. Those points of progression are good, but they're just states. That's it. It's when you cross the finish line, maybe you'll be a little happy, but then what's next? What's after that? I would argue that the benefit of doing something difficult is really in the process, and it's in the process that you're pushing your body to adapt, that you're pushing your mind to learn, that you're allowing yourself, or at least trying to push yourself to reach your full potential. And the achieving of the goal is really the cherry on top. And again, that's not to say that the goal is not important. The goal orients the direction of your progression, but you don't want to fall in love with trying to do everything perfectly and trying to avoid making mistakes, because it's in the mistakes that you will learn, and you'll be able to make a better plan, and you'll be able to set higher goals to just create this amazing positive feedback loop to where you continue to develop and be better, in whatever domain of your life that you're focused on improving in. So, Carl Jung was a famous psychoanalyst. He was a student of Sigmund Freud, and he had this saying. It's something along the lines of the trickster or the fool is the precursor to the hero or the precursor to the savior. And part of the way that I've understood this is that to do anything difficult requires you to look stupid. It requires you to make mistakes. You might get hurt. You might say something that you regret. But if it's something that's truly difficult, it's inevitable that you're going to have to break through some of those obstacles and allow yourself to get bruised up. But what's important is that you stand back up and you focus more on learning and trying to push yourself to be better rather than trying to look good and trying to be perfect. So again, set a goal, set a clear goal, make a plan, something that you'd be willing to stick to, something that would be fun and not something that's so rigid that you're trying to be perfect and that actually stifles your ability to learn. And then commit to learning. Of course, you want to commit to your goal, but the goal serves its own purpose, right? Why, for me, for example, why am I trying to run a 2 hour and 50-minute marathon? Well, that's cool in itself, but I'm trying to be fit and I'm trying to progress myself as an athlete. I'm trying to develop myself and I'm trying to learn. And that's the ultimate goal. The 2 hour and 50-minute marathon is just a checkbox, something to help me stay oriented. But yeah, that's the paradigm I would offer to you guys. I hope that that's been helpful. And I'll see you in the next video.